Good afternoon. Welcome to the June 11th, 2024 City of Apopka Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. If you would all please stand with me for a moment of silent prayer and the pledge. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. During each agenda item this evening, there will be an opportunity for people from the public to speak on that matter, and we will be giving a direct time for each item. If there is something on that is not on the agenda that someone wishes to speak, now would be the time. Very well. All right. We have the approval of the minutes of May 14th, 2024. Any additions or subtractions?
Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the May 14th minutes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stanley. Thank you, sir. Second by Commissioner Washington. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 1, public hearing, ordinance number 3056, 814 Marvin C. Zanders Avenue, small scale future land use amendment. Owners Cynthia Henderson, Aaron Henderson, applicant Cynthia Henderson. Mr. Hamza.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amir Hamza. I'm a planner one. The applicant has submitted a small-scale future land use amendment from commercial to mixed use for property located on 814 Marvin C. Zanders Avenue, just north of Michael Gladden Boulevard and south of 8th Street. These are the vicinity and aerial maps of the 814 Marvin C. Zanders Avenue site. The total site area is 0.08 acres and has a street frontage of 49.5 feet. The applicant is requesting the future land use amendment to allow for the development of a proposed single-family residence, which is compatible with the mixed-use future land use category. As mentioned before and shown on these maps, the future land use is currently commercial and proposed to change to mixed use with a density of 15 units an acre or 2.0 maximum floor area ratio. Zoning is currently mixed use downtown, MUD. The Development Review Committee has recommended approval. The recommended motion is to recommend approval of the future land use amendment subject to the findings and facts presented in the staff report and exhibits. Applicant is in attendance today for further questions. Yeah. Hi.
All right. Does anyone have questions of staff?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Anyone have questions of the applicant? All right. Seeing none, we'll open it up for public comment. Is there anyone from the public here who wishes to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman, and find the proposed change of zoning from commercial to mixed use consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development code, incompatible with the character of the surrounding areas, and recommend approval of the proposed change of future land use based on the findings and facts presented in the staff report and exhibits.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Stanley. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Norwood. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, ordinance 3060, amendment to Floridian Town Center Plan Development. This is quasi-judicial. Has any members of the board had ex parte communication on this matter?
Yes, sir.
Very well. Owners, Floridian Apopka Phase 1 owner LLC. Applicants Andrew McCown, GIA Consultants. Location north of West Orange Blossom Trail, west of State Road 419. Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Bobby Howe, Planning Manager. On August 18th, 2021, the City Council adopted Ordinance Number 2840, which rezoned 73.93 acres to PD, creating the Floridian Town Center Plan Development. Property is located north of West Orange Blossom Trail and west of State Road 429. The applicant is requesting to amend Ordinance Number 2840 to remove several uses from the approved PD Master Plan. The amendments include removing hotel as a use from parcel 3 and permitting commercial uses on this parcel, removing optional flex space office uses from parcel 4 and revising to permit multifamily residential uses on the parcel, removing flex space commercial parcel from parcel 5 and revising to permit hotel commercial uses on this parcel, removing a YMCA as a permitted use from parcel 6 and revising to permit commercial uses on this parcel, and removing an assisted living facility from parcel 7 and revising to permit commercial uses on this parcel. The Development Review Committee recommends approval. And the requested motion this evening is to recommend approval of the amendment to the Floridian Town Center PD, which is ordinance number 3060. Staff is available for questions, and the applicant's in attendance as well, and I believe has a brief presentation for you.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Anyone have any questions of staff?
No, sir.
All right, very well. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Andrew McCown with GAI Consultants, 618 East South Street, Orlando. So, members of the board, thank you for your hearing tonight. Since it's been a while since you've seen this project, I figured it would probably be a good idea if I gave you a quick update and get into some of the details of why we are making the proposal for these amendments. So, as Bobby said, this is an approved PUD. There's 752 multifamily units approved, along with 258,311 square feet of non-residential. And there was also an approved MDP for phase 1 of the multifamily, which also included the project roads and most of the master stormwater system. So the amendment, the goals for the amendments that we have before you today, and really what I'm going to talk about covers this item and the next item, which is the future land use amendment that goes along with this PD amendment. So you can't really have one without the other. They're interconnected. But the goals of these amendments to the PD and the land use is to, one, reduce the residential program and also revise the residential phasing for that program. We desire to increase the non-residential program and adjust the location, particularly of the hotel uses. And then also as part of this series of approvals, we also submitted an updated developers agreement, which I don't believe comes before you, but does go before the council with these other amendments. So what's driving these amendments are several things. One, the property is under new ownership as of several years ago, but you haven't seen this project since then. And with all the tumult in the multifamily financing market, really they're looking to right-size the amount of residential in this project and also recognize that there is significantly strong demand for a lot of the non-residential program that they're seeking, particularly the hotel. So as Bobby showed earlier, the current PUD plan is on the left. And just note that many of these project roads have already been constructed. So the South Fork, the Kiowa Avenue, which connects up to the top, most of these roads are already in the ground. And then the current future land use is on the right. And then comparing that, as Bobby showed you before, the amendments that we're seeking basically are as follows. Parcel 4, which I've got circled, is going to remain the high-density residential, but we are shrinking the remainder of the high-density residential on other parcels. So parcel 4 will be the only parcel that still has the high-density residential at the end of this amendment. That also brings with it a reduced program. And then we are seeking to remove some of this old detail from phase one that was put in the PUD several years ago, so that we can go and amend or submit a new MDP for our phase one. In the previous approvals, phase one was kind of up here in the north and the northeast segment of parcel 4. The new phase one is really going to be down here in the south of parcel 4. The next amendment we're proposing was parcel 5 in the PD, and in the current PD we had described this as flex space. It was HDR, so there was multifamily and potentially a mixed use component that was going to go there. And since that time, it's become a very highly desirable site for hotel. And so we're proposing that this be amended from HDR to commercial to house that hotel use. We've also made some tweaks to the master stormwater system, but nothing significant. Parcel 7, which is here in the corner, it was listed as assisted living facility in the current PUD plan. We are also proposing that this be amended to commercial, and the parcel is getting reconfigured a portion of that is actually going into parcel 4. So there's a small sliver that's going into parcel 4. Other things about the plan that have changed since the original PUD plan: with amending those parcels and those land uses, most of the tables in the PUD have to be updated. So you'll see that we've updated the parcel and the tract information, as well as the program, the allocations to the different parcels, the uses on those parcels. Pretty much all the tables in the plan had to be updated because of those changes. We're also proposing, unrelated to the more use-related changes, we are proposing a reduction in the multifamily parking ratio. It's currently approved in the PD at 1.7 spaces per unit, plus 1 space per 10 units for guests. And we're proposing to reduce that to 1.4 per unit, plus 1 space per 10 units for guests. And we also provided some backup on recent projects around the region, the Orlando region, giving examples of the same management company and the parking offerings that they have been building recently. And then also along with those, there were new conceptual building elevations that were proposed. So there were a number of changes that were proposed in the amendments. So to go along with that, to allow those changes to happen, we're proposing 3 different future land use amendments, and I've got them listed here. So this Amendment 1 is going from HDR to commercial and is 5.88 acres. Amendment 2 is this little sliver here, and it's going from commercial to HDR, and that's just to square up the parcel 4 boundary. It's really just kind of a correction to make that parcel match the future land use. And then Amendment 3 is the other hotel site here, and that is going from HDR to commercial. And this is what that would look like actually with your future land use map. The current on the left and proposed on the right. In summary, there's 10.14 acres of HDR going to commercial, and 0.036, that's that sliver, going from commercial to HDR. And then that equates to, in program language, 601 units total, with a reduction of 151 units. And then an increase by 110,032 square feet of non-residential in the commercial area, which equates to 368,343 square feet. But this does not include that caveat in your comp plan, which allows the 50 square feet per unit in HDR. I didn't account for that in this one. This is just on the commercial property. As far as public services go, running the level of service analysis, we are converting from HDR, which is a high generator for level of service uses, to commercial, which in your level of service calculations is a lower generator or a lower user of uses of services. Sorry, and so overall, you actually see a reduction of your level of service demand when you make that change from HDR to commercial. And we also received a revised capacity encumbrance letter from OCPS in May of this year that also takes into account the changes that we're proposing. So that was a lot of detailed information. If you have any questions, I'm here, as well as the engineer are here to answer any questions you have.
Very well. Thank you, sir. Anyone have questions of the applicant?
I do.
Commissioner Washington.
I'm glad to see you have returned.
It's been too long.
As many people do, I travel up and down 429 from north of Apopka down to Orlando, wherever I'm going. And I've been looking at your property there for the past 10 years. I'm going to make a joke about it. So where are these guys? So, but anyway, I'm glad you returned.
Yep.
When the proposal was first submitted, I considered a robust development. It was pretty nice. And then with the assisted living to serve the needs of those people, and the YMCA was part of it. And I was really thinking about how's that going to work, considering the condition of the YMCA at the time. So I'm not shocked to see that's not part of your.
Yeah, the YMCA that was supposed to go there actually got built somewhere else. So
Really?
that one didn't come to fruition, unfortunately.
You let it get away.
What's that?
You let it get away from
That's the second time that's
the
happened.
second time. All right. Not part of this conversation, but I believe part of the project included commercial space right off the connector road, leading back towards the areas where we're making some changes here. Is that still going to be a commercial space available for restaurants and other commercial uses like that?
Yeah, so if you can see my cursor, it looks like you can. So this is one of the changed parcels here, and then this is one of the changed parcels here. Those are going to commercial. So parcel 1, 2, and 3, which were commercial before, are still commercial. No change there. They're still. This is still planned for retail, office, medical office, things like that.
Okay, all right, that's good. Thank you.
Yep, and this is the connector road here.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also say that none of the block structure is changing from the previous version. So all the roads that were approved as part of that are still, they're either built already or they're still planned as they are.
I noticed. Very good.
All right. Any more questions of the applicant?
No, sir.
All right. I do have one question. What is necessitating the reduction in the parking density from the 1.6 to 1.4?
I think it was a desire on the part of the developer to not be overbuilt on parking. They have seen themselves in what they've delivered on other recent projects, as I said, a lower parking number than was previously approved. And so in keeping with that, they were asking for the reduction in parking. It opens up more space for amenities, and when you're not putting as much parking, you have room to do other things.
Understood. Mr. Howe and his staff is okay with the change in density on parking?
Yeah,
No
the parking is
reservations?
actually more than what's permitted in the land development code and the mixed use downtown and the mixed use short gateway. So what they're proposing
So that
is
number's
actually
over that already.
code.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Now, one more question.
Oh,
I
Commissioner Washington.
think we talked about this before. Just refresh my memory. This project is sitting next to county land. You have
Correct.
folks who live over there. How are you buffering that area from the front to the back?
So the areas that are currently in the county are this area here and to the west and to the northwest. So along this area, I don't have the sections on this presentation, but I believe there is a screen wall with landscaping here along. Yeah, it's actually labeled here. So there's a 6-foot screen wall here along Dewberry, and with landscaping, and then you have the right of way of South Fork itself, and then the development parcels. So along the west, which is the church properties here, there is a standard 25-foot landscape buffer. And on the north, there's also and along the rest of the project, there's a standard 25-foot landscape buffer. And so that will meet the city standards for the landscape screening.
And what will that buffer consist of?
I would have
Until we have a
to.
plan in front of us.
I'd have to refer to the city code for that, but there are a minimum number of bushes and trees per linear foot. Bobby, do you happen to have that?
Yeah, I've got to look it up real
But
quick.
while he's looking for that, I would also note that there are many existing trees on the site, and where the buffer exists, we would be keeping those trees. So there will be a number of mature trees that exist in that buffer, and they'll be enhanced to meet the city standards for the landscape buffer.
All right, anything else? Anyone else?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Does anyone from the public here wish to speak on this matter? Come to the podium, please, ma'am, and give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Mary Austin, and I live at 3401 Dewberry. Actually, I'm the only one that's left right beside this property they're talking about. And I've been going over there when they had a little trailer there because like 5 trees fell right on my property, but they say that's your tree because it fell over. It cost me a pretty good penny for those trees because they really on this property. But because they tipped over on my property, I had to take care of that in my driveway. But my question is, what are they going to do? Are you going to put a wall up right there where I live? I'm the only one on that end.
Ma'am, you need to address the board. And
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just want to ask the question, are they going to put a wall up? Because I'm the only one sitting right there on that side, right? Not where they have already paved it and all of that. I'm on the far end, but I'm on Dewberry, 3401 Dewberry. And my question is what are they going to do about where I'm at? Because they changed it from before when we came right on the back. They were going to come out that way, so they killed that part. So now my concern is, are they going to put a wall up? Because I see saying the YMCA was really right there as I step out my door. And he said that's no longer there.
yes, ma'am, I understand. And that, when we're going over the master plan is when they would have the details on that, as Commissioner Washington was asked about the buffers. But perhaps if you were finished with your questions, we would have the applicant come up and maybe he can answer your question
Okay.
in the interim. Thank you, ma'am.
Andrew McCannell, GAI Consultants. So as I said before, there is a 6-foot screen wall that meets the city's standard for I believe it's a 6-foot masonry wall that would meet that standard. That would be right along that property line.
Thank you very much. All right, anyone else from the public wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to find the proposed amendment to the Floridian Town Center Plan Development consistent with the Comprehensive Plan and Land Development Code and compatible with the character of surrounding areas. Recommend approval of ordinance number 3060 based on the findings and facts presented in the staff report and exhibits.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Stanley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Washington. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, public hearing, ordinance 3061, Floridian Town Center, small scale future land use amendment. Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Bobby Hall, Planning Manager. Applicant submitted a small-scale future land use amendment from high-density residential to commercial. Property located north of South Fork Drive and north of Dewberry Avenue within the Floridian Town Center PD. The area of the property is 24.33 acres in size, and the applicant is requesting the future land use amendment to allow for the potential development of non-residential uses on the parcel, which if not permitted under the current future land use designation. The Development Review Committee recommends approval. The recommended motion this evening is to recommend approval of the small-scale future land use amendment.
Sir, anyone have questions of staff?
Sir.
Right. Anyone have questions of the applicant?
No.
All right. Is anyone from the public here wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to find the proposed change of future land use from high-density residential to commercial consistent with the Comprehensive Plan and Land Development Code and compatible with the character of the surrounding areas, recommending approval of the future land use amendment based on the findings and facts presented in the staff report and exhibits.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Washington. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Norwood. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, site plans. Number 1. I don't know how to say that. Brunacci Commercial Park Major Development Plan. Request approval of the Brunacci Commercial Park Major Development Plan. Owners Yvonne Brunacci, applicant Stephen Shea, location 315 South Bradshaw Road. As this is quasi judicial, I need to ask the members of the board if anybody had ex parte communication on this matter.
No.
Very well. Okay. Mr. Song.
Good evening. This is Jun Song, Planner 2. The following item is an application for the major development plan of industrial development located at 315 South Bradshaw Road. The total size of the property is about 5.8 acres. Its future land use is industrial and zoning is light industrial. The proposed total building area is about 55,000 square feet, and they are comprised of about 12,000 square feet of office space and about 43,000 square feet of warehouse space. The plan has a total of 134 parking spaces, including 9 accessible parkings and 7 electronic vehicle parking spaces. There are also 7 loading spaces. Open space is about 20% of the property, which is a stormwater pond with a pedestrian path and benches. Development Review Committee recommends approval, and the recommended motion is to recommend approval of the Brunacci Commerce Park Major Development Plan. Planning staff and applicant are here to respond to any questions.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have questions of staff?
No.
All right. The applicant here, did they have a presentation? Okay. Does anyone have questions of the applicant?
No.
Very well. Does anyone here from the public wish to speak on this matter? All right. Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for a motion and discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for approval of the Brunacci Commerce Park Major Development.
Thank you, ma'am. Motion by Commissioner Norwood. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Washington. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You the applicant, sir? How do you pronounce that? Bernosh. Okay. I knew I screwed it up. Thank you.
I thought it was Bernacchi.
Hopefully we didn't make it too bad.
All right. Item number 2 of site plans. Lux Car Wash plat. Recommended approval of the Lux Car Wash plat. Owners, Seabell Hospitality Group LLC. Applicants, Florida Engineering Group, Gregory Crawford PE. Have an address. Oh, well, there we go. Location 1752, 1760, 1774, and 1778 Rock Springs Road. Ms. Sanchez.
Jean Sanchez with the Community Development Department. This is a request to recommend approval of the Lux Car Wash plat. Subject property is located west of Rock Springs Road and Wekiva Park Townhomes, south of Tanglewood Drive and north of Welch Road, approximately 4.5 acres in size. The plat proposes to combine parcels and create 3 lots as well as Tract A, private drive, drainage, and utility easements. A car wash use is intended to be constructed on Lot 3 and a construction site plan for retail store and auto repair uses on Lot 1 is undergoing development review. The plat is consistent with the Lux Car Wash construction site plan approved by the Development Review Committee on March 27, 2024. The DRC recommends approval. The recommended motion is to recommend approval of the Lux Car Wash plat. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. I neglected to ask the question. This is quasi judicial. Has anyone on the board had any ex parte communication on this matter?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Very well. Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. Anyone have questions of staff?
No, sir.
Right. The applicant here, do they have a presentation? Okay. Anyone have questions of the applicant?
No, sir.
Very well. Does anyone from the public here wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to recommend approval of the Lux Car Wash plat.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Stanley. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Norwood. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3 of the site plans. This quasi judicial, the Ridge Partial 6C Major Development Plan. Has anyone from staff had ex parte communication on this matter?
No.
No.
Very well. Request recommended approval of the Ridge Parcel 6C Major Development Plan. Owner, Apopka Centerline Development LLC. Applicant, VHB care of James R. Hoffman PE. Location, southeast corner of Binion Road and Boy Scout Road. Ms. Sanchez.
For the record, Jean Sanchez with the Community Development Department. This is a request to recommend approval of the Ridge Parcel 6C Major Development Plan. The subject property is situated on the southeast corner of Binion Road and Boy Scout Road, approximately 13.2 acres in size. The Ridge Parcel 6C Major Development Plan is the westernmost parcel of the Ridge PD and proposes development of 6,000 square feet of food market area, a gas station, and 4 office/warehouse buildings with 25,000 square feet of area. The office warehouse buildings are each broken down into 10,000 square feet of office use and 15,000 square feet of warehouse use. The proposed height is 32 feet, while the maximum permitted is 50 feet. The applicant also proposes an open space area of 2.27 acres in addition to the community amenity area on parcel 8. Ingress and egress on Bronson Lake Drive and Binion Road, as well as on the southern boundary limit. The applicant proposes a left turn lane on Binion Road as well. The DRC recommends approval. The recommended motion is to recommend approval of the Ridge Parcel 6 Major Development Plan. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. Anyone have questions of staff?
No.
All right. The applicant here, do they have a presentation?
We're here, Mr. Chairman, no presentation, but happy to take any questions.
Okay, great. Thank
I have a question.
you. Okay. All right, sir, please. All right, Commissioner Washington.
For the record, I'm James Hoffman with VHB.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, you got a huge project going on out there because we approved it. You're moving a lot of dirt quick.
Yes, sir.
The food market, what would that look like? Is that like a Publix or Winn-Dixie?
No, so just to clarify, kind of reading through the staff report, I thought there may be some clarification on that. This is like a full service convenience store parcel. So we've got the gas pumps kind of shown out front and then the main building of the convenience store. So that square footage is consistent with a one of the more, like I said, a full service convenience store that has fresh food and things like that. But the the owner does not have a tenant in tow, so we don't have a specific user to tell you who would be there. But the idea is that we've planned that site to accommodate, based on our experience, typical users of that size, and they'll be shopping for a tenant.
Did you say gas station?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so this is like a typical food market. with that-
Wawa or,
Yeah, that's what it is.
Correct.
I see. That's good because that area down there in part of Apopka is just blowing up, which is okay. But I just feel sorry for those folks who live down there and they couldn't get. I said, we're going to get a gas. Had to drive a good distance to go get some gas. Well, there's going to be a Publix, a few minutes away from there. So, but I was still feeling for them, and I still do. So I'm glad
Certainly.
to hear that you are putting in a gas station. But I'm also hoping that someone is going to provide restaurants and entertainment for those folks down there, because I consider it like a city by itself. And so I think those people deserve those kind of amenities in that area. So that has nothing to do with your project. It is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
all right. Anyone of those have questions of the applicant?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Oh, you know what? I do have one quick question. What is the building height on that? I mean, maybe Ms. Sanchez said on building
You
one
said
and four.
32-foot clear height? Yeah.
32 feet.
32. Okay, I thought so. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone from the public here wish to speak on this matter? All right. Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to recommend approval of the Ridge Parcel 6C Major Development Plan, subject to the findings in the staff report.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Stanley. Do I have a second?
I'll make a motion to second it.
Second by
I'm not making
Commissioner.
a motion. I'll second it. So I second the motion.
You're the second motion. There, that works either way. Not like we have a big variety of motions here. Not a lot of choices, do we? All right. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. We have any old business?
Yes, I just have one announcement. The July 9th Planning Commission meeting will start at 5 o'clock, as there will be a budget workshop here in this room that begins at 5:45. So we'll start this meeting at 5 o'clock.
So we have to be done in 45 minutes?
Yes, sir.
What if we have questions?
Hold them. That's what it's like.
Warp speed. Yeah.
I think.
I'm sure they'll wait on
You're
us
the
a
one
little
that makes
bit.
the agenda. You can make it 45 minutes if you want. Very well. Meeting adjourned.